And that's a perfect example of how you explain to people, they wonder, how can we do this work? How can we help people do bad things or whatever, all the different things that the judgments people apply to this work. But really, these are gifts, as you just mentioned or just proved, that are mentioned in the Bible. These are gifts that are given from God. Many gifts, one God, same Spirit, as the verse says. And so we are actually performing our purpose and living up to our destiny by utilizing our gifts for the good of mankind. We're actually doing what the Bible told us to do, Christians. We're actually living a more Christian life than you guys are, who are going to church on Sunday, when Moses told y'all specifically that the burning bush told him that you should be going on Saturday. But we are living out our gifts and utilizing our gifts for the good of mankind. And so in doing so, it is not us who deal with the karma, who have karma to pay. It is the person who comes up with these dastardly deeds and tries to use our gifts in a despicable way that has to pay the karma.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I also want to bring up something very critical, like that you learned from your readings. Now that I've come to it, you learned about the ancestral treasury through your bone reading board.
I did. Mm-hmm.
She learned about the ancestral treasury through her bone reading board. We knew nothing about it. And she threw some bones. And because you were asking about, like, where do our prayers go or something, like, do our blessings count as currency? Then they gave you the ancestral treasury and they described it.
And it was like a whole channeling that came after we opened that door.
Yes, that's how we learned it. Her bones taught her that. I mean, like I said yesterday, like, I learned about the law. I thought karma was... I thought it was like, you take a soul, you want to bring something back, you got to take something. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, okay, you kill this mistress, a mistress gonna kill you. And it was like, no, this mistress took your nigga, killed his mistress. And I was like, okay, that's some street shit right there.
The spirits can be gangster though.
Baron is a mobster. Okay. My next question is, once you learn who has your head or who you're a child of, how does your life change?
I think it depends on what you do with that information, because really just learning who has your head so you cannot act, you will not know who has your head until you initiate. If we're talking about Ifa, I can only speak about the Ifa tradition.
No, it's the same thing in voodoo.
Okay.
It's the child. Is it different for y'all? The child versus who has your head?
It can be. It can be different. It can be because
we learn who you're a child of, but who has your head
can change from moment to moment, and that's what people don't understand. The energy that has your head is the predominant spirit that's walking, the predominant Orisha that's walking with you at that time in your life, at that season, because of your needs, realistically. But who you are a child of, that can only be revealed in your initiation. Because they must open the oracle, and they must open the oracle in a very specific way to reveal who you are a child of. Even in my initiation, there were people who had been told by very knowledgeable and reputable babalawos who they thought they were a child of, and it turned out to be different. Now, yes, that energy was very, very present with them. Yes, that energy was sitting all over their head, but that did not indicate who they were a child of. Who's walking with you, who's holding your head, who's clearing your path, and who has your feet. Those are all based on what you need at that moment in your life. They're gonna stand in the gap for us. So if you have a lot of battles to fight, it's very likely that one of the warriors will show up and be in and around your head at that moment. But that doesn't mean that that's who was present and who claimed you at your birth. Those are different things. So I want you guys to understand that, because I get so tired. I get so tired of people coming to me for readings and saying, well, I'm a child of Oshun, and I'm a child of Oya, and I'm a child of Shango. And it's like, you haven't initiated into anything. You've never actually sat on the mat in front of a Babalawo or an Iyanifa for that matter. How do you know who you are a child of? That's something that is deep inside of your destiny and can only be accessed when you initiate into Ifa. Now, and by initiation, I don't mean a full initiation to become a Babalawo or a Yanifa. You can actually receive that information when you get your Ikofa, which is your hand of Ifa. But you must initiate into the system of Ifa in order to have that information. So anybody, and y'all know I don't do that. I do readings for you guys, and I will tell you who is the Orisha, the energy that's around you. I will tell you the role that those Orisha have in your life at this moment, but I would not dare tell you who has your head because I'm not authorized to do that. So anybody who is giving you that information and you've not initiated that's not how it works.
In Haitian voodoo, you have your Metet. Your Metet is the master of your head, but you don't find out who your Metet is until your Lavetet. And your Lavetet should be a part of your Kanzo. It shouldn't be two separate ceremonies, but whatever. That being said, you'll figure out who you're a child of like through two ways. There are two methods. You can contact me, and I'll put you in contact with my godfather, and you'll pay a little bit over $100 for a reading. And he'll read into your energy. He'll read your ancestry. He'll tell you who you're a child of. And then from there, I mean, the information isn't really valuable to you. Because you have to harmonize with the energy. Mm-hmm. The energy's not going to be calling out to you like that either, because he's going to read into your destiny. So if your destiny is to be initiated, then after you know, it's better. You better start doing. Mm-hmm. But you may just be a servant, a practitioner. He may tell you, let's say lead Loa, because I'm thinking of a document of an Ifa priestess that does readings. She says lead Orisha. Here's the lead Orisha with you at this time. Mm-hmm. So the lead Orisha, the one that's leading you in your life at this time, is who you need to be working with the most closely. Yeah. And then once you initiate, you'll find what Orisha
claims you at your birth.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing in Haitian voodoo. You'll learn who you're a child of. I'm a child of Baron and Bridget. Who is the master of my head? You will not know. Mm-hmm. But that is divine for you in your Lavetet.
One of the things, one of the reasons people are really enjoying my life path readings is because depending on the period or the period in their life, absolutely. But depending on the area of their life, whether it's finances or health or career, I'm able to tell them which energies and which Orisha are governing that aspect of their life. And so what you can do with that information is not go and get a t-shirt printed and say I'm a child of Ogun, because that's ridiculousness. But that's what people are doing with this type of information. What you really need to do is understand that those Orisha are present with you in that aspect of your life, because those are the characteristics that you need to use. Those are the characteristics that you need to demonstrate in order to be most powerful in that area of your life. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. To that point, it's knowing who you're a child of is only a tenth of, because I see some people in the chat saying that they may not be ready to know who they're a child of. You're always ready to know who you're a child of. The thing is that what I can't...
Why wouldn't you be ready to...
Well, see, the thing is they're not ready to, because they're afraid of the service that comes with it afterwards. But here's the thing: don't be presumptuous. Don't be presumptuous. Don't assume that just because you get a reading and you find out you're supposed to work with Oshun, that you have a lot of responsibility.
Don't assume that Oshun needs anything from you. Oshun is all the fresh water on the planet. She's a primordial energy. She was always here and will always be here, and she don't need nothing from you. The only thing you can do for Oshun is allow her, should she so choose, to bless your life. The Orisha don't need anything from you.
5 sunflowers for Oshun. But I don't want you all to be so presumptuous about your destinies. Some of you have mid-tier career professional destinies. Some of you all have working class destinies. And the Orisha and the Loa are not going to be asking much of you. They will not be asking much more of you than a prayer, simple meditation, set up an altar, acknowledge them, that's it. You may not even be required to go forward with an initiation, okay? So don't be presumptuous. Don't be scared to know who has your head. But if you feel that you are sophisticated, then I would say to you, if you know that you're sophisticated and you know that you come from a bloodline of priests and priestesses, you got some real work to do. And getting that reading to know who has your head is only the first step in a long ass journey. Mm-hmm. But for the majority of you all, it is information that is only going to be beneficial to you. It's only beneficial, and you shouldn't be afraid.
And so what I don't want you guys to do is confuse the obedience that we talked about earlier with feeling like the Orisha need you in some way. They don't need you for a goddamn thing. You need them. And your obedience is to create an environment in which they are able to do what they can do for you. Okay? They don't need your candles. They don't need your rum. They don't need your offerings. Those things only help to create a relationship. If you want to be with someone, what are you going to do? You're going to take them out to dinner. You're going to have conversations with them. You're going to give them little trinkets on their birthday to let them know that you're thinking about them. That's the same thing that happens when you're trying to learn an energy. But please don't ever think that these deity are going to require so much from you that they need you to do this and they need you to do that. They don't need you for shit. You need them.
It's called spiritual work. It's not called spiritual easy, because you're going to have to work to
get what you want, what you need. Right.
And you're doing yourself a service by serving them. Mm-hmm. You're doing yourself a great deal of service. But I wanted to talk to you all about basically how it is that anxiety, insecurity, and nervousness do not belong in African spiritual practices. So I want to preface by saying this. I know that I have been impatient and sometimes overly patient with the people on YouTube, but I don't want in any way for you all to think that the experience that you're getting through me is the typical one that you would get through a Hungan or a Mambo down in Haiti. I would like to say to you that you're not going to be able to record anything.
Oh my God.
You can't video record.
You better not even try it. Don't try it.
You can't video record anything. Mm-hmm. You really can't write down anything.
You cannot write down anything. These are oral traditions, and they will. You can't write down anything.
You can't write it down, and you can't record it. Mm-hmm. So if you are nervous if you're nervous and you have a hard time dealing with me, you're not ready. Mm-hmm. You're not ready. You are not ready, because I can't commit to memory every single thing that I learned in them 10 days in Haiti. Mm-hmm. I wish I could. Mm-hmm. My godfather has given me because he changed his phone number and he has spells, and I changed my number too. So he gave me some love spells and love spells, breakup spells, and all this other shit through his old WhatsApp. And I asked him for those recipes again. He said, "I'm not giving it to you again." He said, "I gave them to you one time, and I gave it to you through WhatsApp."
And he wasn't really want to do it that way, I'm sure. Yeah.
He didn't want to. Mm-hmm. He didn't. I don't want it that way. He doesn't even like to tell me stuff over the phone. Mm-hmm. You have to be there in person.
Yeah. My Baba is like that too. Remember, I told you not too long ago I wanted to discuss something with him and ask him a question. And I did. And he was like, well, just come here. Come here at your earliest convenience and we can discuss it. Technology has not made its way all the way into the African spirituality. And that is because these are oral traditions. And that is what has kept them so well preserved and so sacred. You will not, I tell you guys, we say this every episode. I don't care how much information you find on Google and YouTube, that does not represent one iota of what is really housed within these traditions. The people who are born into these traditions, who initiate into them, who give their blood and their money and their time, are never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, going to write a blog post and tell you the truth about what it means to be a part of these traditions. It's just not going to happen.
Can someone put Joshua Benjamin in timeout, because he's posting things that are completely irrelevant to our conversation, and I'm starting to feel that he is saying some things that are incoherent or perhaps trolling. That's just what my intuition is telling me, but I may be wrong. Put him in timeout. I'll figure it out later. But that being said, no, if you think that I'm difficult, oh, I'm not difficult. I'm actually the nicest motherfucker ever. I give it to y'all straight and be teaching. The thing is that what you will come to learn is that not every priest is a teacher. And it's hard to find a really good teacher. And if you find one, you better take every bit of information that you can get. Yeah, and I found out this for myself, that I talk in mysteries too, just because of...
It's mysterious. It's occult.
It is occult.
Occult means hidden.
And so it's the more I understand, the more mysterious my language becomes. Right. And I start talking like my godfather. And I started realizing where I'm I'll give you all an example. I'll ask something like, I'll say, so can I work with all the Barone? And he'll be like, we. And I'll be like, so which Barone can I work with? And he's like, I already told you.
You just said, can you work with all of them? And he said yes. And so what else do you need to know?
And then I'll be like, but so which ones are those? And he's like, I already told you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, can you list them for me? No.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Exactly.
And then he'll say something like, I already told you which Barone gave you your name. La Criminelle. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, okay, but what about some... It's like you got more... You ain't finna get nowhere. You're not finna get anywhere. You're gonna have to use a lot of your common sense.
Absolutely. And a lot of just asking actually to receive the information in spirit, which is how... The greatest part, I think, of what we have learned since starting this journey, how we have received it, you know. Because in the Elay, you observe a lot, right?
But I also want to say that the thing is that with an initiation, you come in with a cohort of people that are also at that same level of understanding too. So it's also important that when you have a misunderstanding or an incoherent moment with your priest that's initiating you, you'll go to the other people in your cohort to help decipher what's going on, because everybody else has a different learning style and a different intuitive style. And so that's helpful as well. The community aspect.
Absolutely, which is another reason why we are fans.
You can't do it alone.
Thank you.
You can't do it alone. You can't learn alone.
Right.
You need to have, if it weren't for my god sister down there with me in IET, because we were exchanging so much information with each other, which was, this is what I know, this is what you know. I asked her, so how does this work? And she's like, oh, I got to go and ask Metpoto. Metpoto would tell her something, and she's like, I don't completely understand it. And I say, oh, that makes sense to me, because this is how this works, and astrologically this. And so we would put two and two together, come to all these conclusions. And then I go to my godfather, and I'm like, I realized that I got 88,000 gay day walking with me. And he's like, I'm glad you finally realized it. He's like, you finally caught up. And I was like, when are you going to tell me? But he wasn't ever going to tell me. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to happen at some point where I was just supposed to know. Mm-hmm. That's how you know when somebody's initiation is real. If you're on the path to initiation, you will know what I'm talking about. There are several things that you've experienced before you've initiated. You've had that month where you're just completely depressed for absolutely no reason, and you were depressed because all you wanted to do was read books. You were completely disengaged from the world. You wanted to learn nothing about African spirituality. If people were talking about anything they ain't have to do with religion, ancestral worship, you ain't want to talk to them, and you felt like you was isolated in the world. That is a normal part of preparing for initiation, because the thing is that you're going to have a lot of depressive moments, but you need to still be in contact with spirit. And that's to train you for the actual experience of being in contact with spirit. You're going to be alone. That's your first introduction into isolation, for example. So, but what, I think I interrupted you.
No, I don't remember what I was going to say. Go ahead.
Okay, but let's talk about, let's talk more about nervousness and anxiety. What about the nervousness and anxiety people experience when getting a reading with you? Because I don't think that they should have the same nervousness and anxiety. I think that they should be extremely happy to get a reading. Not nervous with the message their ancestors have for them. A lot of people come in thinking oh, my ancestors are going to tear me up.
Yeah, I think that's usually it. I think that the main when people have anxiety about having a reading with me, it's because they have been receiving information and ignoring it. They've been receiving guidance and not followed through with it. And a lot of times they feel convicted. And so they're just like, oh God, what are they going to say? You know, it's more of that. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And so someone in the comments said, "Spirit or something just told me to meditate and pray more." And so if you're in a community of people, like if I was down there in the IEC, they'd be like, "Barone said to pray more, not spirit, Barone." But I'll never forget. Okay, when I was in.
But I don't like that she said spirit or something.
Well, see, but you need to reinforce her in this moment. Go ahead and do it, because this is what we do in African spirituality. Why did she say or something?
Because I feel like you should know what it is that you're responding to. Because Lucifer accepts prayers too. So who are you praying to? What spirit? What spirit? You know?
The or something.
The or something is what I detest. I need you to know who you're working with. I need you to know who it is that's stirring up feelings within you, that's making you want to go and perform the way that they're telling you to. You need to know who you're dealing with.
And that's very...
Because what spirit? Is it the spirit of your ancestors? Is it an Orisha? Is it the Most High God moving through you? What spirit or something?
Okay. Let's talk about what are some of the most amazing things that you've seen transpire as a result of your magic. It doesn't have to just be Ifa, but just some of the things that you've seen happen.
Entire glorious, charmed life. Everything. Ifa Tosin. Ifa is worthy to be praised. My name itself. Everything. My life is a testimony. My life is a billboard to Ifa. Ifa is greato. My health, my wealth, my happiness. Right. Yeah. My life is a testimony to the magic that is Ifa.
Some of the phenomenal things that I've seen happen with some of Oshun Funke's magic have been people have gotten off of court cases. People have avoided jail time. People have found estranged lovers. She's helped deliver babies.
I have actually delivered babies.
Oh, she's delivered, not helped, but she delivered babies.
I delivered a baby.
She has helped put people back in contact with their ancestors, save people's jobs, save them from unemployment. She has prophesied people in positions of high power conspiring against their employees.
I have had 2 paternity issues up to this point, but I really don't want y'all to feel like don't bring that shit to me. I'll do it if I have to, but I have had 2 instances of that. I have had a whodunit. Yeah. See, I've had experience in the criminal stuff, but that's not something that I really want to advertise. I don't want to advertise it, you know.
You can come to me with it. You can definitely come to me with it. I specialize in a whodunit, because I love a good mystery. I'm quick to find out who did some work on your ass, because my board will snitch.
Now I can do that kind of stuff. Who did work on you? But I'm talking about situations where who broke into my house, who shot my cousin.
Oh, I can do that too.
Did all of that
I can do that too.
Stuff,
no, I will help you. Please, but most of the time you got to accept this. Most of the time, if it's a crime that's committed. Like, it depends on the type of crime. Like a burglary or something, you probably don't know that person. And we're probably going to need to do some work to get that person captured. And you're going to need to work with the local authorities. Because this is what it is. But if it's something like burglary versus robbery. Because both are different. Ugh.
Burglary is when you enter a place and nobody's there.
Okay, so if you've been burglarized...
Robbery is when
burglarized, yes. Burglarized, you gotta... Yeah, robbery is a chance that I might not be able to, because just given the nature of the crime. Like, we have to operate within the boundaries of reality. But if it's a burglary, oh, yeah. Yeah. Criminal stuff, contact me. You want a whodunit, who killed such and such? Where can I find my lost parent? Contact me.
Yeah.
Who is my daddy? Are they still alive?
Yep, I've done that too.
Mediumship. You need to talk to somebody dead. Come talk to me. I've had people's deceased ancestors come through and reveal family secrets that have shattered marriages and healed families, both at the same time. Okay, so let's take some questions from our audience on YouTube. So, with that being said, I want to let you all know that the old Nexo has died.
Oh, God.
And we buried him. He's not coming back ever again. And so, I'm going to accept whatever questions y'all give me. I'm not going to go off. Y'all ain't got to expect me to rip you to shreds or none of that. I'm actually going to be very, very nice.
But Nexo, you said...
Hit the skull emoji if you believe me.
You said you're not gay no more.
I'm not gay no more.
That's a lie.
But I'm still fucking this Jamaican.
Oh my God.
If I ever really get to have sex with
you guys, I just...
Oh. We don't be fucking. We don't.
Prayer. Lift him up in prayer.
We don't be fucking. Like, we just be laying in the bed like, don't be fucking.
So, you guys, I just wanted to plug my mentorship program that we'll be doing it in September.
Yes, her mentorship program. No, actually, we probably need to aim for October.
Okay.
A double launch.
October.
Yeah, because so the second round of so mentorship programs for me and Oshun from K. The wait list for the mentorship programs are going up later on this week. I'm gonna put up the wait list for those, and then we'll see who wants to be mentored by us. As far as the students that are being mentored by me right now, the program will end whenever. But yeah, I am looking to accept students for the fall. And I am also looking to accept students that want to continue being educated under me.
Right.
You were going to learn a lot about metaphysics, alchemy, magic, not as much, and you'll learn about African spirituality. I'm not going to teach you specifically about African religions through this course. It's going to be up to you to find the Godfather for you. And I will help to put you in a community of people that will do that. In addition to that, you can think of me as the psychic.
So fuel my fire, take me higher, I'll be your liar too. 'Cause when we're here, there's nothing better than the sky.